Guys, I'm Combat Craig. Welcome back to another video. Today we're talking about too many doctor's appointments. So when you're going through the VA claims process, that's usually what kind of starts this. You know, maybe you got denied like I did 30 plus years ago, didn't really know how the system worked or whatever. Finally, you get that silver bullet moment, realize you need medical evidence to fight this claim. Good segue into if you need medical evidence, hit up my med team. There's a link in the description. Also, check out my boot camp while you're there as well. So we start going to doctor's appointments, whether it's private or through the VA, and we win. You know, we get our 100% permanent total rating. And then it's like, all right, cool, we have to protect it. How do we keep this from being taken away from us? So that's what I wanted to talk about today. For me, it was a little over 5 years ago. So I was all over it. You know, I'm going for every disability, I'm going to be seen 4 times a year. That's kind of how I started. And now I back down to probably 2 times a year, some of them more. And this is something that you have to settle into. And don't rush it. If you're fresh into your new disability rating and your payment, keep going. It is overwhelming and it's like ridiculous because you're going in and you're going in and it's like, how you doing? The same, shitty, right? It gets redundant and it doesn't feel like you're accomplishing much. You are accomplishing medical evidence in case the VA wants to reduce you, and that's what we're doing here. Everybody has a different level of comfort. I sit here and, shit talk the VA on YouTube. So I should be a little bit more paranoid in addition to my mental health problems keeping me paranoid. It's different for everybody. When they're looking to reduce you, typically they're looking for absences and lapses in medical treatments. And usually it's years. For me, I'm a little bit more paranoid. I want that happening in months, or those gaps to be months apart, not years apart. So it's up to you, what you're comfortable with and what you're not comfortable with. You don't need to go to the doctor for terms, for defending your VA disability rating. You don't need to go to the doctor for things that aren't service connected. Obviously, you're going to have other problems that come up with your when you're 100%. You get dental and, you get everything covered. So you don't need to overdo the things you're not service connected for. You don't need to keep making complaints. If, your 100% makeup is your feet and chronic fatigue syndrome and mental health, whatever new thing happens with your knees, which is something I'm dealing with, I'm going to just get my knees solved and I don't need to be on that all the time. So it's a little bit different for everybody, every condition, but just remember, it's the service-connected disabilities that you want to stay on top of. And there's like a general policy, go at least once a year. That 1 year mark, the reason why that's kind of out there is when you're filing a claim and you need current medical evidence, they're not really looking past a year. I would say get a current diagnosis. Current to me means more like now, within 2 months or 6 months, but a year will also work. That's where that year comes from. So for me, initially, I wanted to go 4 times a year for each one of my service-connected disabilities. That made me feel safe. Again, I'm feeling safe about the unknown. The unknown is they're going to come back and reduce me. So this may be something that you're considering, wondering about, and there's really no answer. I would definitely go once a year. I would, let me rephrase. If I was you, I would definitely go at least once a year. Currently on most of mine, I've kind of backed off a bit. I go twice a year. My mental health stuff, I have to see my psychologist every 3 months, so that's 4 times a year. My feet twice, chronic fatigue syndrome twice, tinnitus, I mention it. So those are the things I'm service connected for. And those, they do bother me. They are chronic conditions, but I don't really need to be going and talking about them and doing a, hey, how you doing? The same as I've been doing for my entire adult life. Horrible. I don't need to have that conversation as much because especially with mental health, it's you drag that PTSD stuff up too much, that's depressing in itself. You're talking about your generalized anxiety disorder that causes anxiety. Just thinking about it causes anxiety. I'm getting anxiety right now just talking about mental health stuff. So do what's healthy for you and do what you think you need to do. So if you get that reduction letter, you'll be able to go like, all right, they're going to reduce one of my disabilities. I'm covered. I've been for that twice in the past year, and I've been doing that for 5 years. So I have a position where it's defensible. Also, you might want to also look at what's going on in your records to make sure that you have something to defend. If you're going twice a year and the doctor is actually writing down that you're getting better, that's not a good thing. That's kind of why I use private doctors for everything, because they just tell the truth. So look at your records, get a sense of what what are they quoting you on? What is their outcome and speculation about where you are and where you're going. And if you like what you see and it looks like it's something you can hang your hat on, right? Then it's defensible. If it's not, go find another doctor, find a different strategy. At the end of the day, it's you, your disability, and your payment, and you are your own best advocate for all this stuff. And how much care you may or may not need is very much a part of it. So do what makes you feel comfortable. Do it with a skeptical eye. Just kind of remember, back in your head, which shouldn't be too far away, these guys denied me for 27 years, right? So that's very much in the forefront of my head. So I know how easily they, can and will reduce and, what laws apply. So I'm going to be keeping this at the forefront of my mind for another 16, 15 years until I'm protected under the 20-year rule. You do you, I do me. Let's keep getting paid. That's what this is all about. We put down the bong and signed on the dotted line. We're 1%. We are different that way. We're not different like human beings. We just made a different choice than 99% of Americans. So now you're getting paid. Let's keep getting you paid. You served, we deserve. We went to wars. All sorts of stuff happened to us. Agent Orange was sprayed all over. Like just stuff that has happened to us that civilians, normies, right? It's just never going to happen to them. They're never going to experience it. They have no clue. So I just want you guys to keep getting paid. Do what you need to do to stay safe and feel safe, because it would be stupid to expect them not to come knocking at some point. After 20 years, doesn't matter. Protected under the 20-year rule. Join my bootcamp at combatcraig.com if you want to learn more about the VA claims process. If you need medical evidence, that's also available at my website. Instead of an email address, I have a form now. Nexus Letters, there's a link. Click on that and contact my med team, and I will see you guys in the next video.